All right.
You just started the most unenthusiastic live stream in the history of fucking podcasts.
No, you know what's
All
weird?
right.
My I know my headphones started making all types of noises in there. I was like, oh God. And I think it's because, I have all my cell phones next to all this other equipment. Anyways,
This is what happens when we have a week off.
Pretty much. Welcome to another edition of Vegas Badboyz of Podcasting. I'm DJ Impact. I got the Vegas Badboyz here with me. It's good to see you all. Yeah, we took a week off because we were celebrating Father's Day. So we appreciate everyone who still continue to listen to a lot of the podcasts that we had released. Hopefully you got a chance to enjoy them. Some of the podcasts we had were interviews for some of the show that happened this past weekend, and we'll talk about that towards the end. That we got a chance to be a part of and sponsor. So, but until then, let's talk a little bit about some wrestling. I know a lot has gone on. There was Hell in a Cell. We missed talking about that as well. Let's just jump right into WWE, fellas. We can start. And by the way, shout out to everyone. I see everyone jumping online right now. Feel free to put in any comments you have on our Facebook Live. We'll try to get those comments in as we see fit. All right. WWE, I mean, we can start mentioning a little bit of what you saw in Hell in a Cell and how from that pay-per-view, how it went right into Raw. And also, I guess we'll talk about SmackDown a little later, but what's your guys' take on what you've seen? I will say I did enjoy the Bobby Lashley and Drew match. I know everyone's probably sick and tired, but I thought it was a very good ending to that. I mean, did you guys enjoy that match at Hell in a Cell?
That happened.
Say it again.
That happened. 7 days. I already forgot that even was a match.
I thought it was okay. A good match.
It was okay. I mean, look, let's be honest. Did it shake the foundations of what we would call Hell in a Cell matches of the year or match of the year? Fucks no. But it was a decent match, and it was a good conclusion to Drew McIntyre's endless pursuit of trying to reclaim his title.
Yeah.
The next thing you're gonna tell me is that fucking they're gonna have Apollo Crews and Big E wrestle again. Oh.
Pretty much. Never in my life would I have thought that a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view would just be filler. But it's 2021, and here we are.
So you wasn't feeling it at all, huh?
No, the show was completely missable.
Yeah, they didn't have a coffin match and a strap match.
Yeah, but they sure as shit found a reason to put people in a fucking Hell in a Cell. It's all good.
Well, not even just that, but I mean, also too. I mean, it was so amazing that the following night on Monday, we'll talk about that later.
Talk about it right now. Talk about it now.
Talk about it now. Yeah, Xavier Woods, and Bobby Lashley. Why not? Why not? Well, that happened on Monday, and you know what? To be honest with you, I will say this: getting to Monday Night Raw, the whole thing that Xavier Woods kind of said. I think that was him piping up like that was probably the best I've heard out of him in a while. I don't know if it's just me, kind of what he was saying. I thought it was cool. I'm pretty sure he's going to get a little bit more shine because now he's doing, the WWE spot commercial for Boys and Girls Club. So, usually when you see somebody on a commercial sponsored by WWE, you start seeing them, have more of a presence on the show. So
yeah, like getting beat up by a fucking bully. Yeah, pretty much. Sure. That's a presence.
He survived like the Boys and Girls Club in every city in America.
You sure he survived?
He did, sort of. He gonna be back.
Fucking ragdoll his ass.
Watch, he gonna be back. He gonna be back tomorrow, playing trombones, doing what he does. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. I'm reassuring myself he'll be fine.
Okay.
Optimism.
What else did you guys see on? What else you see on Raw or even Hell in a Cell? You want to throw out there?
I mean, the Bailey and Bianca match. That was entertaining. It was entertaining. I mean, once again, Bianca's kind of showing. It was interesting because I think that everybody kept kind of saying with her that she has no experience in Hell in the Cell, and then by the time the match was done, that was quickly dismissed, right? She seemed very comfortable in that structure per se, and put on a really good match with Bailey. Obviously, Bailey's freaking amazing. I mean, it was a good match.
Who are all these people?
Who are all these people? Well, the commentators were stating that quite overtly.
So
we're saying
all these people were the people who were being fed that line by the boss. Okay.
Hey man, I'm only recapping what they said. That's what they said.
I love that we are now a show of rehashing what people have said on the actual programs. Great.
Well, here's the thing. You make a good point. But see, I said that in the States to confirm what I saw, that there's a lot of people who go into a Hell in a Cell, all right? And sometimes they're not ready as competitors. I'm just being honest. And they look like I don't know, for whatever reason. Maybe they're overwhelmed. I don't know what the case would be. She looked good in it. Would I want to see Bianca Belair in the next Hell in a Cell? Yes. Yes, I would love that. She was entertaining. The match was entertaining. Sorry, Michaels, if I didn't deliver it the way that you needed to hear.
No, overall, I thought, as I go back to you, Sin City, as much as you've downplayed it, and maybe you guys also agree, I didn't think that the show was that bad.
Hey, DJ,
yeah.
If it happened on the Jericho cruise, Steve would be fucking in heaven.
You gotta not lie a little bit though, Steve. Real.
I'm not even gonna sell that. So But thank you for saying that you'll go back to me. So actually, I definitely thought that speaking of Drew, his match with Riddle on Raw was pretty freaking awesome. Obviously both guys brought it. I thought that was dare I say, probably the best thing that I saw on Raw this past week.
Yeah. Why don't we talk about, let's jump over to the, I probably shouldn't use the term elephant in the room, but let's talk about Eva Marie. She, which one's that Eva Marie, by the way? I'm confused because I thought the Eva Marie was, the one that they've been packaging, but the one who's actually wrestling and when it matches is also Eva Marie. So, no, actually she has a new name now, right? What is that name? Dewdrop. Okay.
Yeah, it's formerly Piper Niven.
Where do you think they're going with this? This is definitely something. I'm not ready to beat it down. We don't know where the story headed, but I mean, where do you think it's going?
Do the word shit house mean anything to you?
That bad?
Look, I'll say this, okay? If Piper wasn't a part of this rehashing, taking an old, might I add, what Eva is doing, evolution sounds a lot like evolution. I'm just gonna put that out there. But if Piper wasn't part of it, honestly, I'd have been like, look, restroom break. No offense to her, whatever. No, actually, sorry, not sorry. She's a snooze alarm. I like when she comes out, I don't feel anything. But Piper is awesome. I wanted her to be on the main roster even way back when she was in the Mae Young Classic. and was waiting for that to happen. And so that's going to be cool. I don't like the fact her name is Dewdrop, and I hope that ain't official. I'm trying to look right now on WWE.
It is.
Is it really Dewdrop?
Oh, it is.
They doing it dirty like that. That is
but they did. If we're gonna stick to your theory of commentary, Simon, they did say that her name was Piper Niven.
You people.
So they don't even fucking know what they want to do right now. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. I just want to know, when did Lana dye her hair red? Oh no, that's not the same. Oh shit. Well, if Nick Khan wants to continue like finding sources to cut salary, Nick, you got someone on your roster named Eva Marie. Good place to start.
He already said he ain't scared. He said blame it all on him.
What? Are y'all gonna give her a chance?
She already had a chance. This is her second chance.
Yeah, man, she's not doing. They didn't do. They give you a package reintroducing her as something, then they bring her out as what she was already fucking doing.
Right.
Which wasn't working, and she got fired for it, and now they're just basically fucking fast tracking her to getting fired. So good.
Damn. All right.
It was, but the thing was, and I'll say this. I agree with you, Michael, because if they had a package to her as if she was saying, "I'm going to be bringing in a talent that's going to change and rock the women's division," because I know how to inspire people. Like if they went that angle, I could live with that. Her being an annoying ass manager type shit, right?
But what they really fucked up on, and this is kind of the heart of the matter, why it doesn't make any sense, is because those vignettes were focusing on kind of the positivity of, you know, young girls out there. Mm-hmm. And then they fucking have her come out and she's just this, it's not even a fucking heel. It's just, she's there. It's fucking awful.
Yep.
Listen, for everyone who bitched about fucking Alexa Bliss and the magic shit, if Alexa Bliss could fucking start with Eva Marie and fucking just have it where Lily kills her, great. Problem solved. You're done.
Fuck that shit. You know what? Time out. Even better, right? So hold on. When they start making these more cuts, for whatever reason it is, Jesus, just have Lily kill them. That'll be the new method on how they get fired. Just have Lily kill them.
Every time someone gets fired, you get a shot of their fucking empty locker with Lily sitting in there. That would fucking be awesome.
I feel bad because somebody losing their job, but they're gonna be all right. They'll land on their feet. But yeah, that would be some funny shit.
Now you gotta admit though, that whole Shayna segment, okay, with the broken window and seeing Lily hit the screen, that's good stuff, right? That's good. That's good shit.
There were so many people who were so pissed.
Were they?
That was on the pay-per-view, and
my god, that was awesome.
And actually, what we forget is Alexa Bliss wrestled that match the first time in a long time she actually had a competitive match.
Yeah.
And she was doing the fucking horror film stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It makes at least sense in terms of a character that you can follow the line of, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does she have to be Charlotte Flair or you've got so many fucking great women wrestler right now that there's no real reason to be like, hey, she needs to be like as competitive as Shayna Baszler was, and it's got to be like a fight and blah, blah, blah. No, fucking it's a way to progress a story that's something different. And quite frankly, the best thing in the world was seeing the fucking faces of kids in 1990 when The Undertaker came out. They were terrified. Scare them with her. I would, if I was a parent God help the world. I would make sure that my kid was cleaning up their room and shit, because I would get a fucking Lily doll and I would make sure that thing would fucking turn up without anyone knowing.
This is the reason why you don't have kids. Thank
For real.
God.
For real, man. The kids would go to therapy, man. When they get to be adults, just all types of fucked up shit.
The sad thing is that in my head, that seems like it's really good parenting. So you're right. I'd probably be awful.
Guys, I'm telling you right now, the minute he tells us he's got kids, we're going to go ahead and just remove them. Yeah, that's
the minute I find out I have kids, I'm shipping them back to Heath Slater.
There you go.
Hey, one thing I wanted to bring up with Raw, just want to see how y'all thought about it. A lot of things happen on Raw, and then all of a sudden we now have a superhero, Nikki Cross. Niggas, what the fuck? I was like, what?
Say the name again. Could you fade out?
Nikki Cross is now a superhero. She obviously went to the Hurricane Helms School of Superhero over the weekend. Went to the same person that outfits all of the superhero shit, and she's ready. How do y'all feel about that? Because my thing was, what the fuck?
Well, it's interesting that kind of came up with allegedly the fact that Molly Holly was being a couple of weeks ago looked at as an agent.
Okay, I can see how
and
that could correlate.
That was exactly what she came out as. She came out as Mighty Molly. There was like no fucking difference other than Nikki Cross.
True.
Nikki Cross could get rid of her fake accent. That would be fucking awesome.
What do you mean? That accent is real.
I just needed to see Steve process that in his head. Go back and watch this, kids, to see a fucking brilliant take of just calm and then, what the fuck?
I'm really trying to figure it out in my head because I've heard her like probably a couple of feet away and she sounded the same. So I'm the dumb one overthinking, like, hold on, she does have that is an accent.
So the thing that I found pretty interesting is supposedly she was the one that pitched that particular idea. So, I mean, good for her if this was legit one of her ideas and they're allowing her to run with it. Obviously, I know that just like what you mentioned, Simon, when I saw it, I thought, what the fuck? But at the end of the day, if a performer is playing a role that they enjoy and moreover that they are invested in, then they're going to play that role better than somebody that's just handed a script. That's
right.
True whether it's pro wrestling, whether it's any sort of acting whatsoever. The thing that I think a lot of people seem to forget is she played several different types of roles when she was doing indies and before she got her shot with WWE. So I think that she'll make the most of it for sure. I'm really interested to see if there's going to be any kind of tie-in, which of course there will be with Mighty Molly.
Well,
go ahead.
No, I was going to say the other thing that is it's a very telling sign, and this is one of those, just keep your eyes open, because not only is she, but you also have the Viking Raiders are kind of getting like a little mini push.
Mm-hmm.
You might see these guys released within the next 6 months. This is the same thing with Apollo Crews. It's that last grasp, I think, before they are just like, okay, because we still haven't seen the main roster cuts come down yet. And I think that those guys right in that kind of wheelhouse of, well, they're not necessarily down at the bottom, but they're not anything near the top. They're all going to be in pretty big danger, especially after the drafts take place, which, will happen right at the end of would be the end quarter of the year, most likely.
Yep.
So this is a grasp of, giving her an opportunity to do something. And listen, she's a perfect person to be in the Money in the Bank. So we'll see, what kind of push she gets from that. It's also very interesting too, and I don't know if they'll like somehow pull out something because of the fact that there was that relationship between her and Alexa.
That's what I was going to say.
Maybe that's where this is going to kind of end up going, is that she comes out as this gun-ho superhero, but in the end, she's really a fucking evil person, which I thought her sanity was the best.
It was
fucking amazing.
Her
So
screaming in the background and shit, priceless. Because she looked like a crazy, deranged, conflicted individual.
Or I mean, or it could just be staring us right in the face. Obviously, you have Alexa with this evil persona. Who better to take her on than a superhero?
And that's what I was thinking.
Realistically, like without that turn being factored in, I could see that working out for both parties for sure.
But the odd thing is, see, and that's the thing. You would think that would probably have been the logical way about going at that. I think that makes a lot of sense. But the odd thing was that when you put them together, she didn't even blink. That was the weird thing. It's like, hold on, you have good and evil. They're on a tag team. And it was just like, she was just excited to get this opportunity to be tagging with the woman who fucking made her feel like shit just fucking 8 months ago or whatever it was. So it's kind of, it does have that aspect. I like that idea, but if you were going to do that idea, why didn't you have her like come down during the match? Have Alexa and someone else who's going to be in the Money in the Bank, and then have Nikki come down and basically save someone like a Shayna from Nia Jax, going off the top rope and splashing her because Alexa's making her do it. That's a little more of the logical storytelling. So I think that the ideas, as we've known for years, the ideas are there and then they get rushed. And when they get rushed, that's when they miss the steps for good storytelling.
Yeah, because I was going to say, like, with this character with Nikki Cross, like, if you're going to be a superhero, I believe it's writing 101. You got to have a nemesis. To sell it, you got to have a nemesis. If you don't have a nemesis, you're just somebody with a lot of motivation and good intentions doing a lot of shit. It don't make sense.
I really do like the whole Reginald and Nia, and the kind of the head turns and being able to like move an arm up, just controlling them with her mind and slapping people and shit like that. That's actually kind of cool. Because it hasn't been done. It has not been done. So what the fuck? Why not?
And speaking of Reginald, when they start making cuts, if he survives, we need to start doing a countdown of how long he survived cuts. You're going to tell me that?
I think I'm sure there's a lot of people that are just really nervous right now because at one time you didn't have to worry about this. You were, if you wasn't being used, you just wasn't being used and hoping maybe you would be used. But you got people that are being used. I mean, I just seen Fandango the other day on NXT. It's like, wow, just to see.
But you got to remember one thing though, like you just said. It was Fandango and Breeze. Those guys at NXT level, the price structuring makes no sense. And that's what Nick Khan was looking at. He was looking at think about the guys who got cut. They were all over 30, and they were guys like Killian Dane and Breezango and and Daivari and Nice. All these guys have had lackluster, the upside with Breezango is that they were veteran guys. But if you notice, Finn's not on the product anymore right now. So most likely Finn's going back up to the main roster because you're not going to pay an NXT guy that kind of money.
Exactly.
And then you're going to see guys who, if you think of the potential of people. They're going to get moved up to the main roster and what's going to happen. And I think this has already been kind of an indication. They'll move those NXT people up because it's going to cost them less money in the long run to have them on the main roster instead of, someone like a Nikki Cross, because Nikki's probably making decent money that could be replaced by a smaller salary on NXT. And they're making a profit right now. So for all the bitching that fans can do about the product, the real answer is, as a business, they probably have one of the best business designs to make money overall right now. And people are going to lose their jobs, but the bright side of that is that there's so many more opportunities now. And honestly, here's a funny thing too. I love when, the AEW guys start taking shots at WWE, because eventually what's going to happen is there's going to be all these WWE people who get released who end up being courted and signed by AEW. And it's almost, in a sense, and this is so Vince McMahon, if you think that conspiracies do happen in the business thinking of Vince McMahon, and that is, release the mediocre talent that AEW will hype up. They won't be the stars that, everyone expects them to be. And thus, basically what you're forcing that company to do is to take your retreads and then not make their product grow because it's stagnant by the lack of talent that you've signed. And that's a perfect way to put a company out of business. And it was just a different way it happened with WCW, because WCW took all these huge names, got attention, and then just fucking shit the bed because they had, just like handing out fucking, checks to everyone. So
right.
It's actually possibly a dangerous game for AEW to be playing with what's going on with these cuts.
I agree completely. It's really frustrating because obviously AEW, they've got a great core nucleus of young talent. And then obviously you hit the nail right on the head. As soon as WWE cuts people that aren't getting the TV time that a lot of people think that they deserve or whatever, obviously we've already seen it with the people that have been cut that have been, obviously a large segment of the IWC, the internet wrestling community, they're hyping up these guys to get signed by AEW, and AEW doesn't need to sign anybody else. All that they need to do is work with the talent that they have, build through, just natural building. And there you go. You have a roster. You don't need to sign these WWE retreads, but yes, that is exactly what's happening.
Sin City, if you keep talking like that, man, we're gonna let you back in over on our side. Okay, watch that tone.
If you keep talking like that, he might not have any other choice, because that might be the only product left.
Yeah, it might be the only product. Yeah. Can't hand a check to everybody.
No shit, man.
Oh God! All right. Anything else before we jump over into? I guess we should do. If we're gonna go by days, would be NXT next, right?
Yeah.
All right. So if nothing else for Raw, let's jump over into some NXT.
And NXT was cool this week. There's a couple of people that we got a chance to see that was really cool that I took notice to. His name is Carmelo Hayes. I've only seen him once before this, and he looked really good. It was kind of interesting how he went with the whole John Cena ruthless aggression thing. That was cute. I literally believe that was cute. But he looked really good in the ring.
Really quick, Simon. I think one of the reasons they kind of did that is today is exactly 20 years ago that ruthless aggression
started,
or 19 years ago. So yeah, that's a good, that's a good possible reason that angle was taken.
That makes sense. Yeah, and like I said, he looked really good against Adam Cole to where you got a chance to kind of see him showcase his athleticism. He obviously has charisma in the ring. I didn't get a chance to look deep and see what he's done thus far before, to be honest with you. So if you guys know, please chime in. But from what I saw, that looked really, really, really good. And I was very pleased with what I saw. Other than that, I mean, just getting things ready for the Bash in 2 weeks. I mean, everything's kind of building up with that. And that's going to be a fun event. I'm looking forward to it. The last time we saw it, the Bash, that hit really well. I think they're going to do 2 days. Are they doing 2 days this year? 2 separate days for the Bash? I'm not sure. Are they just doing 1 day? Remember last year they did two days, right? Didn't they do 2 days last time they had American Bash?
I think they're doing one. I think.
One? Okay. I'm just curious.
And the reason that I think it's just one is because isn't AEW, they're doing the two. I think the 2 consecutive Wednesdays they're doing their pay-per-view style thing, the Bash type thing. Yeah.
Yeah, the Road Rager, yeah.
Whatever, yeah.
Other couple of matches that I was really happy with was definitely Pete Dunne, Oni Lorcan, and The Way, Gargano, and what's his darn name?
Austin Theory.
Thank you. I was going to say Austin Theory. Austin Theory. Austin Theory actually he always looks good, but I think what irritates me a little bit is because I remember when he went up to the main roster for that short little stint, and I did get excited, and I'm glad that he's back. He's paired with Gargano. I'm sure lots rubbing off on him. I'm not personally pleased with the whole persona of him being a dumb boy, but that's just my personal preference. But he looked great in the ring. Fucking Gargano looked amazing as usual. That whole freaking match. I'm telling you, man, I mean, the man is Johnny Wrestling for a reason, and he is just pure delight to watch, and I enjoyed every time seeing him. One thing that I found really cool with NXT, and I don't know if it's been done before like that, was when they were doing a promo with Hit Row, and the way that they did the interview, they started off one interview with, I believe it was Top Dollar, and then immediately as they were talking, they kind of zoomed out, and then you had the other 2 members that quickly gave a quick little dig shout out and then left and then went back into it. I thought that was a brilliant transition. I felt like later on in their match, every week they seem to be getting more cohesive, more comfortable, more getting into the element. And honestly, I'm looking at Hit Row as honestly one of the more solid factions in WWE. Maybe I'm being bold by saying that, but I'm going to say it. I like them. They look solid.
Keep this in mind in NXT, because if they get promoted,
we already know. Yes, you're exactly right with that one. And those are the things that I wish there was some. Well, when I have conversations with people who love the NXT brand, this is some of the anxiety that we do sometimes have. And I understand some of it we have to be realistic and realize, hey, this is not just the way things work when certain talents move up to the main roster. I get that. But I do get anxiety where I see a product and it's great at NXT and I like it a lot. Another person I would say too is Cameron Grimes. He's doing amazing work, right? But I worry, is he going to be intact by the time he gets up to the main roster? And it's like that anxiety, and, I try not to put too much thought and effort into going down that road. It'll happen when it happens.
You got to remember one thing, though. Cameron Grimes, doesn't have to go anywhere.
True.
Very simple. Number 2, if they do bring him up, Cameron Grimes fits better than all the old NXT champions that go up, and then everyone gets fucking pissed off that they get fucking notched down. Cameron Grimes is going to go up and do exactly what he's doing because he's a worker. So he's at a different level because you need guys like that to make the other guys look good. So he's in actually probably one of the best spots of anyone in the company right now because he doesn't necessarily have to worry. He's already got the goofy gimmick.
Yeah.
So if he comes up and he's, getting into feuds and jobbing out and doing this and whatnot, he's making other guys look good. That's causing money, and the guy's already a millionaire, so who cares?
Now, we'll say this with him, and then I'll move on. You're exactly right with that. However, sometimes I worry about if he moves up into the main roster and they already have a guy on the main roster that fills that void.
They don't.
Then it becomes, well, right now they don't. So if he moved up right now, he'd be perfect slot. And I agree with you on that. My worry is what if he does? And again, I'm not going to spend time worrying about it because it ain't happening.
Well, don't forget this too. In general, it's guys like that who always have a fucking spot.
They can fill in.
It's just the fact that he has an identifiable character now. Yeah. And his whole career, he's been a great worker. It's just that no one's ever found, and he himself never found it, that character that really clicked. And now you got something that's clicking, and you know, they can bring him up and make him the fucking gobbledygooker, and he could fucking lose matches and stuff, and he'd still be getting work.
Yeah.
I know I talked about Hit Row just a couple minutes ago, but this was the first time, not the first time, but I think this is the first match I've seen with regards to Top Dollar and Adonis, right? To where, real talk, I'm really liking the big man Top Dollar.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm really liking him, and I chose to really like zone in and really just pay attention to him. I see a lot of big things even outside of Hit Row.
Well, you know, just watch the Treasure series. I mean, he's really good. He doesn't necessarily need this job right now, to be honest. He could be a fucking host on a show. He's just that good.
Mm-hmm. He was really impressive going against Everrise. And Everrise, I got to give them their props. For me always bagging on them, talking about they forever suck. You know, they're another ones kind of fitting in where they get in and stuff. And this whole little annoying ass bullshit of they got their cups in their shows. You know, they're just getting under the skin of everybody. You know.
Hey, aren't you guys happy to see Samoa Joe back?
Yeah,
because I am.
Wait, he came back?
Yeah, he came back. He's the enforcer. I like how they keep saying
it's
that
just great
role.
to see him in that role, and yeah, it was exciting, you know. Of course, we had heard rumors of everything of him being at the center and everything, and then finally, when we see what he's doing, yeah, I'm liking. I like when Adam Cole was back there, you know, talking about the idea of provoking. I'm like, please provoke him, please. I want to see that so bad.
They're planting the seeds for that. I mean, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. At this point.
Sure, yeah.
So yeah, I think we'll definitely be able to to see that soon. If I had to put money on it.
Sure.
I do have to point out one thing, Simon. Props to Top Dollar and Ashanti for hitting their finish and literally power bombing Everrise out of the company.
Yeah, you missed that, Simon.
Yeah.
They were released.
Were they? Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Which
was the day after this match aired.
Wow.
Yeah.
So quite literally, Top Dollar and Ashanti power bombed them out of the company.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
But again, you got to admit that if you look at Nick Khan's reasoning, it makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
What were these guys' value to you? Nothing.
Jobbers in 2 minutes to Hit Row.
Yeah.
Basically. And I think we can all agree that they extended their stay a lot longer than what was probably originally anticipated. I didn't foresee them staying as long as they did, and maybe they were just, it was COVID still, so why not? But the one thing that was interesting was at the end of the night, it was during the O'Reilly and Kushida match. At the end, you had chaos breakout, and I'm not gonna rehash it, but basically now we have Diamond Mine, and we find out that they're here. We'll see. There's not much that I can say. What do y'all have to say about Diamond Mine? Because I wasn't too impressed. That's just me.
I think it'll be pretty decent. I mean, Roddy Strong is a great worker. Tyler Rust is a good worker as well. Obviously people, when they see him, they think of him as a joke with WWE, and with good reason, because that's essentially what he's been treated as since day one. So let's hope that they actually do get a legit push. And Hideki Suzuki was, he was actually the top Japanese indie wrestler in 2017. So, I mean, he's a very, very solid worker as well. Yeah, I know it's been a few years, Michaels.
Well, no, I thought he was the, isn't he going into the Baseball Hall of Fame next year?
Oh God.
Yes. Just say yes. Yes. Yes.
That's Ichiro Suzuki. But yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
But nonetheless, I think that, you know, I would actually like to see them, you know, if they would have obviously kept Marina, then this could be a pretty decent thing. If you were to add her to this type of a stable, if you wanted to go with the kind of trope that they're doing with 3 guys and a girl in the stable, then, you know, that would check a box, but we'll see if that ever happens. I don't know. The thing that sucks is this match, the main event of this show was really, really, really solid. Quite frankly, it was one of the better things that I saw all week on any show, and it's all being overshadowed by this angle at the very end. Kyle O'Reilly and Kushida put on a great match for 14 plus minutes. And yeah, exactly what you think you would get when you say that the participants in the match are Kyle O'Reilly and Kushida. Very, very solid match. Definitely the best thing that I saw on NXT this week. Probably it's up there with that Riddle, with that Riddle and Drew match from Raw, as far as best thing that I saw on either one of those 2 shows. We'll talk about SmackDown, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anything else y'all want to mention on NXT before we move over to AEW?
Well, Cross made his debut on Main Event, and boy, isn't it interesting that
yeah.
You know, I think that there's a lot of reading into that. If you think about it in terms of, he's not on the main roster, so whether or not you would actually use the you know, the effects, the lighting, the steam, the smoke, all that shit, who knows? But it's also an indication of, you know, they might go a different way with him. Listen, if they do go a different way with him, it's worked before, because John Cena is the perfect example of a guy who got brought up in a gimmick that was what he was doing essentially, and was almost fucking released by the company. And then when they found out he could rap, the guy never looked back. So, you know, again, it's a whole idea of transitioning people from what is considered development into your main roster. The one thing Kevin has going for him is that he is a Vince McMahon type of wrestler. And once Vince gets to know who this guy is, he probably will be like one of the last guys that Vince, you know, allows into that upper notchlon, because he, you know, just his personality will probably get along very well with Vince.
You know, so this is what popped up. You know, when things like this happen, sometimes I receive all types of messages. So one from one of our good buddies, Ravens, sent me, and it went something like this: if he was a star, then why would you put the NXT champ on a main event with no promotion of this? No NXT champ, NXT women's champ, NXT North American champ, NXT tag champ has ever had to do this. Main event is taped on Monday. NXT is live on Tuesdays. If I was Hunter, I would have had him lose the title in Tuesday. That way, they would have had to edit out the lame entrance for today. Wow, he's putting it on it.
So you're gonna have someone drop the fucking title because he's getting put on main event.
Apparently, he said he doesn't believe he's a star.
He hasn't.
Well, he's never believed he was a star.
Exactly.
He never believed before he got to WWE, and that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, this is. I can't let go of the fact that I was wrong on this one.
Exactly.
That's exactly what it is.
But we appreciate your input, and we appreciate that.
Humility is something that everybody should have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wasn't that the group with Eric Young and Nikki Cross? And,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, humility, right?
Yeah.
Jesus. All right.
But I do have a question with regards to the main event. I kind of looked at it, and maybe it's far off. Is that kind of like maybe a testing ground? I mean, to a certain extent, like you were saying before, transitioning. Do you think that that's a good way to, I guess, test before you're ready to pull the trigger and have them go to the main roster? Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I mean, regardless if they had a title or not, that's the way I looked at it.
Yeah,
as that's a testing ground.
That's exactly how I think 90% of people looked at that.
Okay, all right, we're good. I was on it for once.
Yay!
All right, you want to talk about AEW Sin City, or you?
Do I have to? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. This will be quick.
Just your favorite parts, and please don't say the whole show was your favorite.
It wasn't. It definitely wasn't. So, no. The thing is, one thing that AEW has been doing for several weeks, several months now at this point, is getting the show kicked off in a pretty hot way. The opening match with Hangman Adam Page and Powerhouse Hobbs, I thought was a pretty solid match. Yes, there's a definite styles clash, no pun intended, between the two, but I think that, this match was pretty solid. You did have the interference with Brian Cage and Ricky Starks and, all that horse shit. But realistically, the right person won. You furthered a storyline, and it again got the show off to a pretty decent start. Good shit there. Obviously, there was a good promo with Tully Blanchard and Conan, which it was always call me crazy, but it was good to see Conan on TV and doing his thing. Obviously, there was a little bit of a swerve in the promo, as Conan said that he brought Proud and Powerful with him, and it turns out that Proud and Powerful got laid out by FTR. FTR jumps Conan, drops him with a spike pile driver, and just gets the heat. Pretty good shit. Obviously, we can see where this is going to end up going. So I'm cool with it. I did also have to throw out there the Jade Cargill and the Smart Mark Sterling promo, where they started talking about how Jade finally has merchandise and that everything's been selling like hotcakes, and how all of their t-shirts are sold out in double XL, which is completely spot on for pro wrestling fans. I audibly lolled at that, and I'm not afraid to admit it. So nice job on that. From there, there were some forgettable matches in there. Bunny versus Chris Statlander.
Why do either of them have a job?
Hey,
who are they sleeping with?
Well,
I think it's pretty safe to say that the Bunny is with the Blade, but call that one a guess. Here's the thing is, I understand why Statlander got the win, without question, and that was the right decision to be made. What I didn't get was why that match went over 9 minutes. That easily could have had the time cut in half, but again, what would you fill that time with? Bunny just really, so here's the thing. Her last match was definitely forgettable. this time around, at least Chris Statlander was able to carry her to a decent match. And, you know, as much as we give shit to the AEW women's division, I mean, I can see what they're trying to do with Chris Statlander, with Britt Baker. So, I mean, at least they're giving a solid attempt at rehabbing and building that women's division. But again, we've been talking about this shit for over 2 years. So, I mean, how long is that going to take?
The saddest thing is that they had to turn to a bunny and an alien.
Well, duh. Obviously.
We can't find any human. Let's get an alien.
So I wonder, I legitimately wonder if Chris Statlander is an alien, is she allowed to compete for the AEW Women's Championship?
Depends if she's illegal.
The fuck out of here.
Well played, sir.
Yeah.
And then finally, at the end of the night, we had Kenny Omega versus Jungle Boy for the AEW World Championship. Man. So here's the thing is there were a couple of times during this match where I was able to suspend disbelief, and obviously I was pulling for Jungle Boy to get the upset victory, knowing full well that he wasn't going to. But nonetheless, I think that this did, I think it did a lot for Jungle Boy because it put him out there, made him seem like a very credible contender for Kenny Omega in the championship. We'll see what's going to happen, but I think that there's another layer to this storyline. Obviously, Omega picks up the win in 18 minutes and not after, after some interference, obviously from, the Good Brothers, the Young Bucks. I mean, you had the schmaz, just like what happens with every single Kenny Omega match. Okay. But one thing that I think is being, I don't want to say overshadowed, maybe forgotten, is Christian Cage ran out there at the end of this match and ended up getting laid out by the Hardy family office, whatever. That's a shitty fucking name for a faction. But nonetheless, I'm really curious as to when the Christian heel turn on Jungle Boy is going to be. And yes, I said that.
Yeah. You know what though? What was confusing to me though is the fact that would make kind of, sense, but you had then to have the Young Bucks run down and kick Christian in the face. So that's where it becomes more convoluted. It's like, I think that would be great. Have Christian mentor him and then fucking turn on him. Wonderful. Especially if he could manipulate him away from Luchasaurus.
Bingo. Yes.
Great. That's fucking wonderful. Now we got to go with Matt versus Christian because
of course.
Apparently that's what sells tickets. And yeah, go ahead.
I'm just going to say, why haven't someone, normally it's traditionally known that when you keep having these interference in these matches, normally someone goes, okay, Kenny, in our match, there won't be any interference because it's going to be a whatever match, cage match, or a covered cage match, or something. Why nobody never mentions that? And it's to a point that every match you get is the same old run-in. Like, you already know what's going to happen. So when Jungle Boy, I'm about to talk about Impact Wrestling in a minute. You're going to have Sami Callihan. Why don't someone mention that? Because you know what's going to then happen. You just go keep. I don't know. It's irritating
because
and boring.
Dusty Rhodes was a fucking genius, and this is the Dusty finish. And unfortunately, the translation has always been, because that worked at one time, that's the easy out. That's like having a fucking, a comedy writer just throw in the easy, mom joke or something like that, or when you get frustrated and you see things use the same television sitcoms for 60 years now have used, I put the tape down the fucking house. This is my side. That's your side. You can look at almost every show and they've done some form of that fucking plot because everything's already been done. So instead of coming up and going, hey, we said when we started, we're going to be fucking different. Be different. Have fucking finishes. No one is tuning in because of the fact that the potential might be that, oh, there'll be a hot run in at the end. No, we want to see the fucking, matches actually end as they should. And that is a problem with AEW more than the other companies because of the fact that they wanted to tell us that they were going to be so different. And all they're doing is repeating the same stuff. And at sometimes you have to go, boy, if you could just take the good shit from WWE and the good shit from AEW, put them together, and then take all the horseshit stuff and put those together, you would basically be able to solve the problem of what would make fans happy.
Yep.
Yeah, good point.
And it's not a particular wrestler, too. That's the other thing people get hung up on. Oh, this person needs to push that. No, the writing needs to be good. Period. If the writing's good, then you can do all this stuff. And
the implementation of that, right? The talent being able to apply what that writing is, sell it. Yeah.
Yeah,
as well.
Exactly. And what you said too about like, well, how come, they don't do this in a cage and blah, blah, blah. We have a fucking coffin match coming up between Ethan Page and, so the gimmicks are being done, but they're not being done as prevention of the schmaz. It's being done as ridiculous, Steve, can I just ask you, Ethan Page had a fucking wonderful match with the big guy. I forget what his name is even.
Bear Bronson.
There we go.
Yeah.
Which I found funny. That's right. Because I'm thinking, oh, Bear Bronson, and we got Bronson Reed over there. Those two fucking going against each other would be awesome.
Right.
But what made me go, this was the wrong time to have him fucking wrestle that guy, is because now you have him going against fucking Skater Boy.
Yep.
In a fucking coffin match, and Ethan Page, just went against a beast. Are you telling me that Skater Boy is going to, supposed to be able to beat him?
Of course.
Oh my God. Ethan should have wrestled a fucking, 120 pound, fucking throw
he
a
should have
hook in
wrestled
there.
Marco Stunt.
Or Stunt. Yeah. Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly. Because, that again, it's like, how can you fucking say that Darby is going to be a future star when you do shit like this? It's like, oh, frustrating as hell.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you this. My biggest problem with AEW is, like I said before in the past, and Michael's kind of alluded to it. If I see, because I don't watch it as often enough as I should. So I'm looking for what they're promoting for the next following week. So I'll tune in. So for example, Jungle Boy versus Kenny Omega. I watched that one because it was promoted. It's what stuck out in my mind. I knew I had to watch it. The ending, okay. We got to see what's done. All right. Yeah. Did I know Jungle Boy was going to win? No. I knew he wasn't going to win. But it finished from its entirety, okay, from what I saw. But there's been many times with AEW that it has irritated the fuck out of me. It'd be a match that I want to see. I was very excited to watch it. And you had some run-ins. You had some just bullshit. And for me, I don't break it down in my head enough with AEW, like, could it be writing? But now I'm starting to kind of see it. And for me, as somebody who wants to be re-engaged in AEW, because I was when they first started and I backed the fuck off, I would like to be re-engaged. And I think that this is a problem because I feel like there's a huge number of people that's like me. They want to make time in this long-ass wrestling we got to watch for a freaking week to watch AEW, but have been let down. When I go to watch it, I'm like, can't get that hour back. Can't get that 2 hours back. So they're gonna have to fix something, just in my opinion, with regards to that.
Sounds like me every Monday with Raw.
You know,
Yeah.
the best moment of the night is when Tony Schiavone said, "And stay tuned for Semi-Pro," because we got the Jackie Moon song right after the fucking screen went to black. Jackie Moon comes in, and now I'm feeling good.
Anything else, City, you want to add, or that's it?
No, for those of you on Cody Watch, yes, there was stuff going on with Cody Rhodes on this show. They had to remind us that there's going to be a fucking South Beach strap-on match. I mean, excuse me, a strap match. The fuck? Again, gimmick matches that aren't necessarily fucking needed.
Well, I don't know. A strap-on match would definitely be a first.
Oh,
Obviously.
it wouldn't be a first.
I mean, for AEW.
Google, no.
Shit you watch.
No, Google some of the independent stuff, and trust me, it's not a first.
A strap-on match?
Just trust me on this one. So
whenever someone says just trust me on this,
right.
You never just trust them on that.
So Steve, I'm glad you brought up that match, because for whatever fucking reason, why did Shivani in the promo pic say, "And Cody Rhodes is going on a strap match against QT Marshall"?
That is supposedly the way that QT Marshall wants him to pronounce his last name now.
Right.
Since we're hey, here we go. I can join in on this now. Since we're rehashing shit that's said on commentary, that was where it was actually said. So yeah,
really?
Legitimately, I think that it was a botch initially by Shivani, but then a couple of weeks after that, then they said on commentary that QT said that he wanted him to refer to him as QT Marshall, and now they're just going with it. Why not?
Wow.
Oh man.
Insane.
All right. Thank you for that, Sin City. On to Impact Wrestling. So ever since we had the Moose match against Kenny and all that craziness that happened, we knew that Sami Callihan had gotten fired for appearing onto the show by Mr. Don Callis. Well, apparently that went a little bit too far. So the Anthem board members had to get involved, and they sent one of their members of the board, what happens to be Tommy Dreamer. So great, Tommy Dreamer's a part of the Anthem board. That's a great position to be a part of.
Perfect.
You know? Hey, listen. If you're going to be part of the Anthem board, at least Tommy knows he'll have health insurance for the rest of his life.
I love that. Yeah. But so anyway, he pretty much let Don Callis know that he is fired. Finally, right? Fired from Impact, and that Sami Callihan, of course, is now rehired, although he was never fired, according to them. So he's back on. And not only back on, he will have his match against Kenny Omega at Slammiversary, which is coming up on Saturday, July 17th. So, that's the big push right now. But because Don Callis and Scott D'Amore happens to be, they business partners, but they're also were good friends. They're good friends as well. And Anthem board was like, okay, Scott, you really didn't take care of the business as you should have. You kind of let Don run off and do all this. What's going on, Scott? So Anthem board members gave Tommy Dreamer that he is going to be the overseer, the consultant of Scott D'Amore. Yes, an advisor. That's going to be Tommy Dreamer's role now, which Scott told him he doesn't need, but it doesn't matter because the Anthem board told him that you do need to have Tommy Dreamer looking over things. So we're going to see how that goes now that Scott D'Amore going to have someone that overlooks what type of business structure he's doing over there at Impact Wrestling. So anyway, everything is leading up to Slammiversary. Pretty good show. I won't go over a lot of the matches. It's a lot. I will say what I am pretty excited for. Let's see if I can get over it. It's the they're bringing back, and I forget the term. I'm sure you guys remember when they had this match, the Ultimate X match.
Oh yeah.
Now I guess that was when they had. Is that when they had the change that went across, right? And okay, I remember kind of seeing some of those in the past. So they're bringing that back. I guess it hadn't been around for 2 years. So we're going to get you to see the X Division title match with that. And, you know, we already got a lot of great guys that's going to be on there. Josh Alexander is your champion. So we're going to have Trey Miguel and Ace Austin and Chris Bay, Rohit Raju and Petey Williams in there. So it's going to be great to see that. And that's Slammiversary as well. So something to look forward to. And then I guess Moose and Chris Sabin have been announced to fight at Slammiversary. So they're still working on building the card up for that show. Nothing's been announced yet for the women, although there was a lot of interaction with the knockouts this past week. A lot of drama that is happening. You know, Deanna Purrazzo, she had her crew, which was normally Susan and Kim and Kimberly, but that whole faction broke up this past Thursday as well. So no longer that. Deanna had enough of them. So yeah, that's pretty much that. And everything is just leading up for the show. So that's all I got for Impact that's worth mentioning. We'll see what happens going forward as they continue to build this match. Man, Sami Callihan, huh? To take on this big main event for Kenny Omega. I would have never thought. And it's nothing to say nothing about Sami because Sammy's a good wrestler, but I mean, it's good for him.
So,
you know.
So I had a thought that really would have been the fucking best way to do something.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? They should have had Jungle Boy win the fucking Impact Championship from Kenny. He should have never wrestled for the AEW Championship. He should have won that Impact belt. And then you could have had him going on Impact and at least having some kind of talent exchange and giving him a little more exposure and a little more experience carrying a fucking title. But no. And we'll see. I mean, do we honestly think Sami Callihan's going to win that match? You know?
No. But yeah, it's I know. This is
the way they plan this whole thing is the way that teenagers plan out their activities. Great start, no end conclusion. We just don't know what the fuck.
I guess we're gonna have to see who comes out of Slammiversary, who's going to be, because right now there's no one on their talent now that would take that belt away from Omega.
I think we gotta talk about this on 3 Count.
Yeah, absolutely. But until we get there, let's go ahead and move over to SmackDown, man. Why don't you tell us about that, Matt Michaels? What interests you the most on that show?
Well, let's give credit to creditors due. Roman Reigns, thank you very much for taking out Rey Mysterio. I am so glad I'm not going to have to see him on TV for hopefully ever again. So thank you.
Did y'all like the idea of having the Hell in a Cell match on first time, I guess, ever on network TV?
I'm glad it wasn't on Hell in a Cell, period. And they just had it on SmackDown for whatever the reason.
Kind of curious. Yeah.
Hey man, when you have 2 fathers wrestling in a fucking cage match on Father's Day, and one of them goes, "Yeah, nah, I don't want to do it," then it's like, all right, we'll put it on SmackDown then. Fine.
Right.
You know,
I thought that was pretty damn funny when I heard about the actual reasoning why that match was moved.
Especially because of the fact that how many weeks did you guys have to go, hey guys, this is on Father's Day. I kind of want to spend it with my kids.
Yeah.
Let's do it 3 days before the fucking pay-per-view. Okay. So that was good that happened. You know, I do like Steve Francis from Pee Wee Herman, and what he's been able to accomplish so far. I'd like to see that guy wrestle Otis.
Oh,
that
God.
would be awesome. That would be amazing. But yeah, you know, it's been cool to see the Street Profits, you know, being demolished by during the match. To literally say that Otis was it was something extent like he hit him like a heavy machine. Yeah. I mean, we literally just made the fucking, you know, just we're just gonna fucking throw that out there, just in case Tucker was listening, so we can rub that in. You know, so SmackDown, of course, you've got you know, Bianca and Bailey and that kind of, you know, going on. Wonderful to get Cesaro and Seth into that mix. Bailey and Seth are a fucking wonderful pair.
Yeah, absolutely.
Boy, if they could start running with those two, that would be great. It was also interesting to see that Steph would request a match with Roman Reigns. So that's interesting too, because my first thinking on that was Roman's going to be turned face because Seth is the easier to keep heel. Especially when you're going to live shows. So I think they're thinking ahead, and they're, you know, going to potentially catch any surprise Roman, you know, cheers by having someone waiting in the wings who could be more despisable. But that was, you know, they're doing some great work with Cesaro. It would be wonderful for Cesaro to eventually get that shot, but if it comes, I think WrestleMania would be when they'd have to do it. I think, but otherwise, you know, you can't go wrong with what the hell's going on with Roman and Jay and Jimmy, and I just sometimes you wonder when a guy like Jay, who has been so important to what is going on, then decides not to show up for work. Could Jay be, I don't know, possibly finding someone to maybe, you know, Jimmy is switching and becoming that right-hand man for Roman. Maybe Jay is going to come back with possibly, I don't know, another member of the table.
Yep.
Well, you know, it'd be better make sure if it's family.
You know, possibly. I don't know if they have any family that might be available, you know, starting as of when the commitments are all done.
Yeah.
That sounds like a really interesting type of problem to have.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everyone look for The Rock to be on very soon.
I was going to say, because I know you're going to get into it, but Sami Zayn is fucking amazing. Like him going on about I beat Kevin Owens. Like I love how he has embodied the spirit of people who are really just over the top with conspiracy theories. This is how they operate. The minute they have the smallest inclination that they have won, they have to tell fucking everybody. And mostly everybody is like, we don't give a shit. We gave up on hearing you a week ago. Well, what are you talking about? Sami Zayn did an amazing job. I just want to put that out there. Now, I know you'll go into it, but
no. I mean, that's about it. That's well said. It's just a shame that Kevin's, from all indications. And by the way, that's the match we missed on Hell in a Cell. If you want to talk about the best match of the night, that was it. Kevin versus Sami again, of course.
Imagine that.
Yeah, but Kevin, it looks like he did legitimately hurt himself during that match, so
Yeah.
he's going to be away for a while. So yeah, I mean, basically the biggest thing of the night was that Jade's boyfriend Edge decided to show up, and it looks like
the trigger word. Come on.
Well, I'm hoping it's going to be a trigger weekend, because in all reality, it looks like that will be the SummerSlam main event potentially. Then is Edge versus Roman. So Jade might get a nice 2 months here full of Edge, which I think she'll enjoy.
Too much food. I'm not even gonna touch that.
And is it not sad that Edge comes back and, immediately, of course, going against the champion? You look at AEW, you have Christian and Matt Hardy reliving, 1998. And then Jeff Hardy is apparently somewhere in the Raw locker room.
Mars.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope it's, I hope that he's not drinking, while he's on his way to the shows and getting lost. So, because I think that's the last major angle they had Jeff Hardy in, was the drunk angle.
Yep.
So, Jeff Hardy, congratulations on your new AEW contract that should be coming up fairly soon.
Right.
And that's it, man.
That's it.
Pretty much, unless there's something else going on. Again, we got Big E going into Money in the Bank. I believe, that Apollo Crews, you can't tell me that somehow he's not going to make his way into that. I got a feeling.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, let me ask you, Sin City, right quick. Is there any news we have on New Japan? I know that I think just like everyone else, I know they're about to start allowing live shows going back again. So that's got to be exciting that I was reading about. But is there anything else major going on that we should mention?
I mean, there's not a whole lot going on right now. Some things that we can talk about. New Japan Strong, and Filthy Tom Lawler defended his championship against Carl Fredericks this past week. Okay. And very solid match. And your boy from Impact, Kojima, he's next in line for Tom Lawler's New Japan New Japan Strong Openweight Championship. Blech.
Okay.
So yeah, he's next in line for that. We're still kind of in a holding pattern as we kind of see how everything is going to unfold as we get closer to Summer Struggle for the main New Japan brand. We'll see how things go and how things take shape. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. We'll definitely revisit it next week because their next show, Summer Struggle, will actually be on Saturday, July the 10th and 11th. So yeah, cool. We'll definitely talk about it next week.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Before we wrap up, Matt Michaels, Simon Street, maybe you want to talk about some of the local Vegas shows that has happened over the past week or two that we didn't get a chance to talk about at all. And maybe just let us know what experiences that you got a chance to see.
Go ahead, Simon.
Well, should I tell them about last night or should I tell them about last week?
Bro,
whichever.
You don't need me to tell you to talk.
That's pretty true. So I'll go ahead and start with what was most recent happened. Last night, me and Matt Michaels attended an event that was promoted by Big Valley Wrestling. It was an event that was at the LGBTQ Community Center, and it went for a very good all proceeds went to the community center, and basically it was pretty cool. It was a great event. Had a lot of great matches. We actually sponsored Effie, who was there. It was an amazing match, fun from start to finish. You got a chance to see a lot of our favorites. Jay versus the Shade was another match that went on. That was really, really good. You got a chance to see Fresco in action. Ricky Tenacious, the songbird of the ring. It was a really, really good event from start to finish. There actually was the most proper strap match I've seen in a very long time. It's where I cringed at certain parts of it. I'll hand it over to Matt Michaels, who's a little bit more eloquent at breaking stuff down than I am, but I had a fun time and was happy to be there and be a part of that.
I will say this before you go, Mr. Michaels, that the video that is on our social media, if you guys have access to Vegas Badboyz on any of them, IG or Twitter, I got a chance to see the video of that event. And I got to say, shout out to everyone that came out. A lot of people came to support, and that is awesome. So shout out to them. And Effie, man, he's a showman. He came out, he did his thing, rocking that Vegas Bad Boy logo on his shirt, and he represented well. So it was just from watching those videos, it was exciting. And one of the hot spots in the videos that I watched was really great too. So man, I'm interested to hear what your take and experience was at that show as well, Matt.
The atmosphere was really just a nice, just welcoming atmosphere. There sometimes you get caught up in the idea that pro wrestling has to be done a certain way, which is the sterile look of the old boxing days where you have a center light on the ring announcer bringing out the people, and this is a real fight and blah blah blah. We were graced by the Tiger King doing the ring announcing. So that was phenomenal. To have jokes and just wonderful coloring of everything, just by having a ring announcer that was just not traditional. That was a very smart move. Everyone was there to have fun. The fact that everyone for the most part was that I understand was doing this without receiving anything in return, because it was proceeds going to the center. Hopefully they'll be able to do this again a little sooner. Effie is by far one of the best performers out there. If you watch what he does, he gets it. He understands what this business is. And, Effie, in our interview, he described, what he sees himself as, and that's Terry Funk. He wants to be himself, but as a wrestler too, he sees himself as that maniac in Japan in 1995. And it's wonderful. It's such a great contrast. He's so smart. He also, if you take a look at the video clip of the door that was used last night, when Ricky Tenacious hit him with the door the first time, he says, "Bring it on again," the second time. And when he hit him with that second time, Effie had a knot on his head for the rest of the night. That was I'm
sure. Yeah.
That was brutal. And then Ricky ate the door when Effie scared him. So And you got to give hats off to Shade and Jay. If you guys are not following Jay Vidal, if you're not following the Shade, man, you're missing out on two guys who have the potential to not be in Vegas very much longer. Potentially be somewhere else signed, or at least getting more opportunities to wrestle across the country. So hopefully more people can see them. Mm-hmm. So that was a very good match from the point of what they were able to do. And there is so much opportunity for guys to go out there and just show what they can do. The more experience you get under your belt, the better. However, at the same time, you also have to be realistic too. Just because you're working for one company and you're looked at one way doesn't mean if you're working for another company, you're not going to be looked at it as a different way. So you have to be able to adjust. And I think that if you can do it in your same city and learn how to do that, then you're able to go to other, states and, be able to be a heel in one promotion and then go to another state and be a face. And, that's really kind of what it's about, just kind of getting the field to be able to adapt to what the bookers want you to do and are bringing you in to do. So it's good to see these other opportunities for guys to show what they can do. Yeah. And then if you want to hear about the FSW weekend, please go back and listen to this past week's episode of the DeFalco Files. We go into a lot of detail about that whole experience of the weekend anniversary shows from last week. And that's the best place right now to catch that. And Steve, I just got this in. It has been officially announced, brother. That match will be taking place at Road Rage. So,
Jesus.
If you are listening now and get a chance, tune into the YouTube or Facebook, take a look at the match advertising for Road Rage.
Well, I tell you what, that's gonna be that's gonna be a hard hitting match.
Oh man, that's okay. Well, I think we said enough, man. That's what happens when you take a week off. You get stuff like that. Shout out to John and Chris, boy. They have fun over there on the chat. Thank everybody for listening. If you are listening to us, we're going to be right back in a few. We're going to have our 3 count that we're going to record. And if you're listening to the podcast, just don't forget to download 3 count. 3 good topics that's definitely going to have you wanting to hear and have your own thoughts added to what we're going to talk about. So with that, we thank you for hanging out with us, and we will see you